Happy New Year, 2016. The title for the first message of this new year is Behold, I make all things new! Exclamation point. In 2012, in 2016, question mark. Quote, And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. End quote. Revelation 21:5. That promise was written down over 2,000 years ago, and humanity has been waiting ever since for the Creator to fulfill his promise to creation. I personally have been waiting all my life. From earliest childhood, I have expected the kingdom of heaven to manifest on earth. I thought for sure it would happen before the 20th century ended. I was wrong. Well then, I thought, 2011 or 2012 will be the year. Oh, the disappointment when I realized that it was not only not new, it was even worse than before. Will this new year finally the year God keeps his promise? Indeed, that sentence, Behold, I make all things new, was my first conscious thought waking up after struggling to try to get to sleep with all the fireworks going off around my house last night. They finally died down after midnight sometime, and I woke up here a little bit after 2 o'clock. Those thoughts came before I even rolled over and looked at the clock, and saw that it was just past 2. And I laid there for like 40 minutes before I even got out of bed, maybe 45 minutes, and came to the computer to prepare to make this message. In any case, not only me, but I believe humanity is waiting for that promise to finally be kept. We have struggled for such a long time to get beyond the horror, and it becomes more and more horrible as years go on, of the world being run by psychopaths, by demons, by people with the intent to control everybody else, not the desire for truth and freedom, but the desire for the coronation of the big lie that we can be separate from creation, that we can somehow have a world where there is no God and where we are in control ourselves. The ego domination of a personality over creation, and the domination of one creature over other creatures. No, God promised all things new. The domination thing has been going on forever. There have been pockets here and there throughout our history where there have been visionary people who have, in their locale, made things better. But overall, if we look at the world in the 20th century and the beginning of this 21st century, we have to admit to ourselves that not only have things not been truly changed, as I said in the blurb, they've gotten worse. The controls have been ratcheted down, and they've tried to make things tighter and tighter and tighter, keeping us slaved and enslaved to a world system of falsehood, of domination, of fear, of contempt for life itself. And no one has greater contempt than the powers that have seemed to be in control. Granted, there is an awakening, and I have been both emboldened and made ecstatic at times as I look at people waking up all over the planet. On every continent, people are turning toward a higher reality and a realization that we, the people, must be set free. Because without freedom, without truth, There can be no new world order. I'm sorry, George Bush, your new world order sucks. It's not, it's not the one humanity needs, and it's not the one awakened humanity wants. It's only your new world order is the new world order of tyrants, where you can still make the lie supreme. But the lie can never be supreme. The lie can never set free. Only truth can set people free. And I long for that truth, the truth that we are all created in the image of God, children of the living God, regardless of our nationality, regardless of our race, regardless of our religion, regardless of the things that have been used to separate us one from the other and even to cause animosity and war and anything but peace on earth. And these things have been the way of mankind forever and ever, it seems, but it really isn't forever and ever. At the very beginning, according to Anastasia, there was actual peace on earth, that God actually did commune with people, that people actually did live in harmony, not only with each other, but with life itself, with every creature on the planet. There was harmony. And oh, how I want to get back to that world that Anastasia describes in the Ringing Cedars of Russia series that I've talked about so many times in the past. Over the past month or two, I've been engulfed in the threat to take my home. I've been disappointed by friends who had made promises to me and then failed to keep the promise. I have been disappointed by friends who called me a liar when I've believed certain things were going to be true and certain things were going to happen, and then they didn't happen. Am I lying to you folks that are listening to me, that have when I've tried to build hope, when I've tried to build confidence in a brighter future? Have I been wrong? I mean, honestly, in the past couple of months, I have really bemoaned the fact that my life has gotten more difficult, that there are threats, greater threats than ever, hanging over my head. I'm pleased that I finally have met an attorney that was introduced to me by one of her, by a lady who introduced me to her mother, who is a retired attorney. And she has offered me great hope, and she has seen some things in my case that I never saw. I mean, she looked at some things and she brought them to my attention. I'm not going to reveal uh, the things that she is seeing, but they bring my hopes again up to a higher level. But my hopes have been raised and dashed for a long time. As I said, I expected in 20 in 2000, in the 20th century, I expected things to change by the end of the 20th century. Uh, when I was in the army, and that was what, 19 what year was I in the army now? I even forget. It's been so long ago. But during the war in Vietnam, that was when I was actually drafted into the army, and I thought sure that it was going to happen back then, and that was what, 1980, early 1980s maybe, uh, or even the 1970s. No, not 80s. It was earlier than that. Yeah, 1964 was when 1968, 1969. Yeah, it goes way back that far. When I was still getting out of high school and still going into the military, I honestly thought things were going to get better, and I needed to get on with my ministry. And I've always thought in terms of ministering and helping raise people's consciousness to the best of my ability. I've gone through lots of changes over my lifetime, but I'm truly hoping and praying that finally in 2016, God will continue to, not continue, God will actually start to manifest, to bring into our reality this kingdom of heaven that was promised to us so many years ago. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. Namaste.